In a galaxy where bonding was everything, one girl sat alone in the back of the ceremony hall. Her name was Sela. She was small, thin, and quiet. With a damaged leg that made her limp, her left arm never moved properly. And her clothes were old and patched. The other alien students were dressed in bright robes, laughing, showing off their perfect bond marks. They had already chosen their partners strong. Fast, powerful ones. Scylla was the only one left without a partner. The bonding ceremony was the most important day at the academy. It decided who would become protectors. Explorers, leaders, every student must bond with someone, or be sent away in shame, and Scylla had no one. Not because she didn't try, but because no one wanted her. She's too weak, they said. She can't fight, she'll drag you down. Even the teachers ignored her. Pretending she didn't exist, she had gotten used to the silence, used to the stares. But today, it hurt more than ever. The ceremony bell rang. Pairs were called to the stage one by one. Names echoed through the hall. Friends hugged, partners bowed. Mentors clapped, and Sela sat frozen, watching them all. Her eyes shimmered. But she refused to cry. Then something strange happened. The main doors of the hall creaked open. Everyone turned. A human boy stepped in, wearing a plain jacket and dusty boots. He looked around, confused, then walked toward the front. The elders frowned. Who is this? One whispered, he's not on the bonding list. Another muttered. The human stopped in the center, scanned the room full of bonded pairs, then turned his head. And that's when he saw her, the girl sitting alone in the back row. Their eyes met. She quickly looked away, ashamed. But he walked straight toward her, ignoring the whispers and stares. He stood in front of her chair. Are you Scylla? He asked, his voice calm. She nodded slowly, not trusting her voice. Do you have a partner yet? He asked. She shook her head. No one wants to bond with me, she said softly. Then I will, he said, smiling. I'm Kale, he added, holding out his hand. Gasps echoed around the hall. What is he doing? Someone hissed. He's choosing her. Sela didn't move, her eyes wide with disbelief. You? You want to bond with me? She asked. Kale nodded. Yes. I do. An elder stood up, his voice stern. She is unfit for bonding, he declared. Her condition makes her unsuitable. Kale looked at him calmly and replied. She's not unfit, she just needs someone to stand beside her. The room went silent. Even Scylla couldn't believe what she heard. No one had ever spoken like that for her. No one had ever wanted her before. Kale gently reached for her hand. She hesitated, then took it for the first time. She stood in front of everyone without hiding, with her limp leg and her crooked arm. She stood tall beside the human who had chosen her. The elder sighed, then gave a small nod. The bond is accepted, he said. Though many still frowned and whispered, the rule was clear. A willing pair must be honored. As they walked to the center stage together, the light from the crystal above glowed brightly. Bond marks appeared on both of their wrists, golden for Kale, silver blue for Scylla. The bond was real. The connection was complete. And just like that, the girl no one chose was now bonded. Not to someone who pitied her, but to someone who saw her, truly saw her. What no one knew was that this bond would shake the academy, reveal hidden powers, expose secrets, and one day, save lives. But for now, Scylla just held his hand tighter. And for the first time, she smiled. Scylla had never walked beside someone before. Not like this, not in front of a crowd, not holding someone's hand. As she and Kale stepped down from the stage, every eye followed them. Some were filled with confusion, some with disgust, others with envy. But Kale didn't seem to care. He kept walking, his hands steady. His eyes focused ahead. Scylla's limp slowed them down. But he matched her pace without saying a word. No rush, no complaints, no sighs. His voice echoed in her head. "Then I will," he had said. Like it was the easiest choice in the world. Scylla wanted to ask him why. Why her? Why not someone strong or graceful or admired? But she stayed silent, afraid to ruin it, afraid it was all some mistake that would be taken away when they reached the end of the hall. Cale turned to her. "You okay?" he asked gently. She nodded quickly, then looked down at her feet. "You don't have to stay with me," she whispered. "I understand." If this was just a moment of kindness, Cale looked surprised. He crouched a little, so they were eye to eye. "I didn't choose you because I felt sorry for you," he said firmly. "I chose you because I saw something in you." "What?" she asked softly. "Strength," he said. "Real strength." She looked away, her cheeks warming. "No one ever said that to me before," she admitted. "Then maybe they weren't looking hard enough," Cale replied with a soft grin. They walked toward the bonding quarters, small rooms where new partners would train, study, and live for the next 3 years. Other pairs passed them in the halls. Some stared, some laughed. One alien boy sneered loudly. "Hope you like carrying dead weight." Human Cale stopped and turned, his voice cold. "She's not dead weight," he said. "She's my partner." The boy blinked, then backed away. Scylla felt her heart thump in her chest. No one had ever defended her like that before. She kept her head down, but the corners of her mouth turned up. Just a little. Their shared room was small, but clean. 2 beds, a training wall, and a small kitchen as they stepped inside. The door closed behind them, and silence filled the space. Cale dropped his bag and stretched. Finally, out of the spotlight, he said, chuckling. Scylla stood by the wall, unsure what to do. "Is this really okay?" she asked. "I mean, me being your bondmate." Cale sat on his bed and looked at her seriously. "Listen, I didn't come to this academy to impress anyone," he said. "I came because I want to fight for something real, and I saw something real in you." Her eyes widened. "But I can't run fast," she said. "I can't lift heavy weapons. And my left arm barely moves." Cale smiled. "I didn't ask for a soldier. I asked for a partner." His words hit deeper than he knew. Scylla sat slowly on her bed, still unsure. "What if I hold you back?" she whispered. "What if everyone laughs at you because of me?" Cale leaned back and shrugged. "Then let them laugh," he said. "But they won't be laughing when we win." "We?" she asked in disbelief. "We," he confirmed that night. She couldn't sleep. Her thoughts spun in circles. She remembered the jeers, the rejections, the moments she sat alone in the canteen. She remembered how the teachers looked through her, how even her own family sent her away, hoping someone else would fix her. But now one human had changed everything. With just a few words, with a kind voice, the next morning came fast. A bell rang across the campus, first training challenge in the morning sun. Pairs were 2-face obstacle tests designed to measure speed, trust, and instinct. Scylla panicked. "I can't do this," she said. Cale placed a hand on her shoulder. "You won't do it alone," he said, "from this point on." We moved together as they stepped onto the training field. The crowd was already there. Other students smirked. Whispering, teachers took notes, ready to watch the pair that should never have existed. Scylla's legs trembled. Her breath shallow. Cale squeezed her hand. "Breathe," he said gently. She did, slowly, then nodded. And then the horn blew. They ran forward, together. And the first trial began, but no one expected what would happen next. The training field was a wide circle of rising platforms, narrow bridges, and shifting tiles. Flames danced below, not real fire, but energy plasma. Hot enough to sting if touched. It was the Academy's way of testing how fast, How clever and how united a bonded pair truly was. Kale and Scylla stood at the starting line. All eyes were on them. She could feel the burning stares more than the plasma. Whispers echoed. They'll never finish. She can't even walk straight. She fall before the first jump. Scylla's heart pounded. Her bad leg trembled. Her left arm was stiff. Her body already felt heavy, like she didn't belong here. But then Kale leaned closer and whispered, "Just follow my voice. Don't look at them." "Look at me," she nodded, swallowing her fear. The horn blasted again, and they ran. Kale moved fast. His boots light on the stone tiles. He didn't rush ahead. He stayed just one step beside her. Always watching, always ready. The first gap came fast. A small jump, but for Scylla, it felt like a canyon. She froze, her knees locked. Kale didn't shout. He turned around and held out his hand. "You can do this," he said calmly. "I'm right here." She took a breath, another, then leaped. Her foot slipped on the edge, but Kale caught her wrist before she fell. The crowd gasped, but she didn't fall. She climbed up with his help. They kept moving, jump after jump, flame after flame. Some platforms spun, others tilted. It was made to separate the weak from the strong. But Scylla was proving she wasn't weak, not when someone believed in her. Still, the next part was worse. A thin glass tunnel over glowing heat, cracks already forming under pressure. "Only one may cross at a time," a robotic voice warned. Kale frowned. "I can't hold you if you fall here," he said. Scylla nodded. "I have to do it alone." She stepped onto the glass. Each footstep sent tiny vibrations. She tried not to look down, but she could feel the heat rising. Her bad leg wobbled, sweat ran down her back. Then the crack came, a loud snap beneath her. She froze, panic filling her chest. "Don't stop." Kale shouted, "Keep moving." "You're almost there." The glass groaned under her weight, but she kept going, one step, another. And then she reached the other side, just as the tunnel cracked behind her. The crowd fell silent. A few even clapped. Kale rushed to her and pulled her into a short hug. "You did it," he whispered. "You did it." But the challenge wasn't over. The final stage appeared. A burning wall with shifting panels. The trial of fire. Flames shot out in patterns. Unpredictable and wild. Most bond pairs avoided this test. It required perfect timing, fast thinking, and total trust. "Are you sure?" Scylla asked, her voice shaking. "We don't have to prove anything." Kale looked at her. "Yes, we do," he said. "Not to them, but to you." He stepped first. Leading the path, he studied the flames, counted the bursts, and moved carefully. Scylla followed, slower but steady. Then her leg gave out. She collapsed right as a flame shot toward her. The crowd screamed. Kale turned in panic, but just before the fire reached her, it curved. The flame twisted away, as if pushed by invisible force. Scylla blinked. Her hand was raised, glowing slightly. Her fingers tingled with strange heat. The fire avoided her. The elder watching the field stood up. "What was that?" He whispered. Kale rushed to her, helped her stand. Her whole body shimmered with light. Not hot, but warm, protective, alive. She didn't understand what had just happened. But something had awakened inside her, a power that slept in silence for years. Waiting to be seen, Kale smiled wide. "You have a gift," he said. "You just needed someone to believe in it, together." They walked through the rest of the firewall. Every flame bent around her. The trial of fire bowed to her presence. And when they reached the end, the crowd stood in stunned silence. The scoreboard blinked. They had passed, not just passed. They scored higher than all the other pairs that day. Scylla looked down at her hands, still glowing, still warm. She had always believed she was broken. But now she felt whole. Kale gently nudged her shoulder. "You're not useless," he said. "You're powerful, and for the first time in her life." Scylla believed it too. Scylla sat on the edge of her bed that night. Her legs dangled, her hands resting on her lap. They still glowed faintly, warm like a soft campfire. She kept staring at her fingers, still trying to believe what she had done. She had passed the trial of fire. No, she had bent the fire, not by luck, not by chance, but with something inside her. She wasn't useless, not anymore, and maybe she never was. Across the room, Kale was polishing his boots, humming quietly to himself. He glanced at her and grinned. "You've been staring at your hands for 2 hours," he said playfully. "Do they talk back?" Scylla smiled, a small, shy smile. "They feel different," she said. "Alive?" Kale nodded. "That's because they are. You've got something special in you." She looked at him carefully. Why did no one else ever see it? She asked. Kale paused, thinking maybe they never looked close enough, he said. Or maybe they didn't want to, before she could answer. A soft chime rang from the wall panel. A message appeared, glowing in blue text. "Partners Kale and Scylla report to Chamber 9. Immediately, her smile vanished. Kale stood up, serious now. "What do you think this is?" She asked nervously. "No idea," he replied. "But we'll face it together." They walked through quiet halls. The lights dimmed for evening when they reached Chamber 9. 2 council members waited inside. Tall, robed, and silent, their glowing eyes fixed on Scylla. "You displayed control over elemental plasma," one of them said. This was not expected. Kale stepped forward. She didn't mean to break any rules, she just reacted. Instinctively, the second elder tilted his head. "We do not accuse her," he said slowly. "We are curious." Scylla swallowed hard. "What does that mean?" The elders looked at each other. "Your powers may be part of something ancient," one said. "Long forgotten and buried by fear." Scylla's heart raced. "I don't understand," she said. "You will," the first elder replied. In time, they were dismissed. As they walked back to their room, Scylla was quiet. But Kale could see her mind spinning. "Hey," he said gently. "They're interested because you're strong. Don't let it scare you." "I'm not scared," she whispered. "I'm tired of being surprised." The next morning, everything changed. Students who once ignored her now watched her. Some whispered behind her back, others came too close, asking questions. Pretending to be friendly, Scylla didn't trust them, not yet. But one person didn't pretend. Savannah, the most popular alien girl in the academy. Elegant, perfect, powerful, and proud. She approached them during breakfast, her voice smooth like ice. "So," she said to Kale, "you chose the trash," and somehow made it glow. Kale stood up slowly. Towering over her, "I chose a fighter," he said coldly. "You wouldn't understand that Savannah's eyes narrowed. Enjoy your little success," she said. Turning away, "It won't last," after she left. Scylla looked down. "She's right," she said softly. "I don't belong with all of you." Kale knelt beside her. "You belong with me," he said, "and if she wants a war, we'll give her one." That afternoon, Scylla trained harder than she ever had. She limped, she fell. She sweat, but she got back up, again and again. Kale coached her, supported her, sometimes even mocked her in fun, just to make her laugh. And something amazing began to happen. Her left arm, the one that never moved, twitched. Then moved, just a little. Her limp became lighter. Her steps stronger, her powers more stable. She even made the plasma in the simulator spin in patterns like waves. Words spread fast, whispers turned to awe. She wasn't just a weak girl who got lucky. She was a force no one could ignore anymore. But in the shadows, Savannah watched. her smile cold and sharp. She thinks she's strong now, she muttered to herself. Let's see how long that lasts. Later that night, Kale and Scylla sat on the rooftop. Looking at the stars, do you miss Earth? She asked. Kale chuckled. Sometimes, he said, but right now, I'm exactly where I want to be. Scylla leaned back, her eyes soft. I still don't know why you chose me, she said. Kale looked at her and said, because when I saw you, I didn't see weakness, I saw fire, and the stars above shimmered as the girl everyone once rejected finally began to rise. Scylla woke to a strange silence, the kind of silence that didn't feel peaceful, but cold. It was early, the sun not yet touching the sky. Their room felt different. Too still to clean. Kale was already awake. Staring at the wall screen, his jaw was tight, his eyes dark. Scylla rubbed her eyes and asked, "What's wrong?" Kale pointed at the glowing text, a message from the Academy Council. Unauthorized footage of private training has been leaked to the public. Under investigation, Kale and Scylla's heart dropped. Footage. She whispered, "Of what?" Kale didn't answer. Instead, he tapped the screen. The video played blurry at first, but clear enough. It showed Scylla during one of their private night training sessions. Her arm glowing, plasma bending around her fingers. Her voice trembling as she whispered. I don't know how to control it. The video cut there, but that was enough. Enough to make her look dangerous, unstable. Enough to turn her gift into a threat. Who recorded this? Scylla asked, her voice shaking. Kale's fists clenched. There were no cameras, he said. Someone planted one. The door suddenly slid open. An instructor entered, not their mentor, but a cold-faced officer. Both of you, come with me, he said without emotion. They were taken to an empty council room. Dark glass walls, harsh lights. For senior officials sat at the table. Their expressions unreadable. Do you deny the footage is real? One of them asked. Kale replied quickly. The footage is real. But it was stolen. We never gave permission for recording. Scylla sat quietly. Hands folded, she felt smaller than ever, like she had shrunk back into the shadow of who she used to be. You show signs of unstable plasma control, another official said. Can you guarantee the safety of other students? That broke something in Scylla. She raised her head and looked straight at them. I've done nothing wrong, she said. Her voice calm but strong. I've only tried to learn, to train, to grow, if you fear that. Maybe the fear is yours, not mine. One of the older council members tapped his fingers. The vote is divided, he said, until a decision is made. You will remain under observation. They were dismissed as they walked through the halls. Whispers followed them, not just behind their backs, but from the walls, the vents, the very structure of the academy. She's dangerous. She's pretending to be harmless. That human is blinded by pity. She might explode during the next exam. Kale stayed close. His hand always near hers, but Scylla could feel the weight growing heavier. The stairs weren't just curious anymore. They were fearful. Later that night, they sat in their room. The lights dimmed. Scylla curled up on the couch, hugging her knees. Kale paced near the window, angry and quiet. This isn't right, he muttered. Someone's trying to break you down. They want to make you doubt yourself. I already do, Scylla whispered. Her voice cracked. What if I am dangerous, Kale? What if I hurt you someday? Kale stopped, turned toward her. He knelt beside her and said, You've never hurt anyone. You've only saved, protected, survived. You are more in control than anyone I know. But the fear is spreading, she said. I can feel it. Kale nodded slowly. Then we burn through the fear, he said. Together, the next morning, something even worse happened. The door to their room hissed open, and inside was chaos. Their bed torn, training mats shredded, Shelves knocked down on the mirror. A message was written in red paste. Not one of us. Scylla froze. Kale stepped in first, checking for danger. No cameras in the hall, he said grimly. They covered their tracks. She stared at the message. It was a cruel reminder, no matter how much she improved to some. She would always be an outcast. A knock came again, this time gentle. An older alien girl stood at the door. Eyes kind, she looked around, saw the mess, and said, "I heard what happened." She stepped forward and handed Scylla a small box. Inside was a glowing charm for strength, she said. "Not everyone here is against you." Scylla's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you," she whispered. The girl nodded and left without another word. That night, as Scylla lay in bed, holding the charm close, she made a quiet promise. She wouldn't break, not now, not after coming so far. Let them whisper, let them judge, she would survive the darkness. And when the time came, she would rise through it. The arena shimmered under the morning sun. It was grand round and carved from blackstone. A place once used for war training, now repurposed for something worse, judgment, today. The Academy announced a sudden public combat evaluation, and Scylla's name was at the top of the list. She sat on a bench near the prep zone. Her fingers gripped the edge. Knuckles white, Kale stood beside her, his face tight with anger. "This isn't just a test," he said quietly. "They're setting you up." Scylla nodded. "I can feel it too," she whispered. "It's not a trial. It's a trap." Just then, Savannah entered. Draped in her perfect violet armor, surrounded by her elite friends. She walked past Scylla and smirked. "Oh, poor thing," she said. "Hope you're ready for the show." Kale stepped forward, ready to respond, but Scylla touched his arm. "No," she said calmly. "She wants us to react." He looked at her and saw something new in her eyes. Not fear, not doubt, but fire. Soon the announcer's voice echoed across the arena. Today's match, a real-time evaluation of plasma control and combat coordination on the field. Scylla and Kale versus the House of Savannah. Gasps erupted from the crowd. A group match, unbalanced, unfair. Do they think we're fools? Kale growled. They want to humiliate us in front of everyone. Scylla stood slowly. Then, let's not give them what they want. She stepped into the arena with her head high, her steps slow but steady. The crowd buzzed like insects, waiting for her to fail. The arena shifted beneath their feet. Platforms rose, barriers moved. The simulation began, digital fire, wind. And smoke swirled into a battlefield. Savannah and her three partners moved quickly. Fast, coordinated, aggressive, they unleashed shockwaves of force and pressure. Kale defended from the front, blocking with his plasma shield. Scylla stayed behind, eyes scanning every movement. She waited, watched, listened. Then she heard it, a whisper in the air. A sharp shift in wind, real plasma, not simulated, and it was aimed at her back. She turned just in time. A bolt of burning energy flew toward her from above, out of bounds. Someone was cheating. An illegal device was being used, Kale shouted. That's not in the simulation. But the judges didn't stop the match. They sat in silence, letting it happen, letting her burn. Scylla screamed as the blast hit her shoulder. Her body fell, rolling across the platform. Kale rushed to her. Scylla, stay with me. She groaned, pain flashing in her eyes. Her right shoulder was scorched. Her tunic torn, but her breath stayed steady. She forced herself up. They won't stop it, she whispered. No one will protect us. Kale clenched his fists, fury in every muscle. Then we protect ourselves. Scylla's eyes began to glow, brighter than ever. Not just her hands this time, her whole body pulsed with energy, like the sun rising through her skin. She rose to her feet, and the air changed. The entire arena grew warmer. Even the audience began to shift uncomfortably. Savannah sneered. "Ho? The broken girl thinks she can fight." She raised her spear, a real one, tipped with toxin, forbidden in academy duels. Scylla stepped forward. Flames followed her steps. Not wildfire, but shaped calm. Focused, alive. "Come then," she said softly. "Show me how strong you are when the rules are gone." Savannah lunged. Fast like lightning, but Scylla didn't move. The moment the spear came near, it melted not from heat, but from pressure. Her energy shielded her, bent time around her. Crushed lies with truth. The crowd fell silent. Even the elders leaned forward. Stunned, Kale stood at her side. Shield raised, ready to defend. But Scylla needed no defense now. She raised her arm. A gentle wave of heat spread across the field, not burning, healing. The wounds on her own shoulder began to seal. Cracked platforms rebuilt themselves under her feet. Her power wasn't made to destroy. It was meant to restore, and that terrified them. The Academy trained warriors, not healers. Not leaders who made others better. They didn't know how to control someone like Scylla. The announcer's voice stuttered. Match. Match terminated. Field reset initiated. Savannah was dragged off the field. Unconscious, her illegal weapon exposed. The crowd erupted, not with cheers, but with shock, with questions, with fear. Back in the locker chamber, Kale helped Scylla sit down. "You didn't just fight," he said. "You changed the rules." Scylla smiled faintly. "No," she whispered. "I just stopped hiding." Scylla sat in the healing chamber. Her skin still shimmered with fading warmth. The medbot scanned her slowly, unsure how to explain what it had just witnessed. Even machines didn't know how to label someone like her. Kale sat nearby, arms crossed. But his gaze never left her. He looked proud, protective. But worried too. "Are you okay?" he asked quietly. Scylla nodded. "Just tired," she whispered. But not broken. That sentence hit harder than anything she had said before. Because for the first time, she believed it. Not because Kale said it. Not because someone else gave her permission. But because she had proven it. Word spread like wildfire. The footage of the fight was already moving across galaxies. Screens lit up with the image of the disabled alien girl who bent fire and healed a battlefield. She became the story no one expected, and everyone wanted to control. The Academy Council called an emergency assembly. Thousands of students filled the Great Hall. The elders stood tall at the podium, trying to look calm. But cracks had formed in their power, and Scylla was the reason. She and Kale were called to the front. As they stepped onto the stage, the hall fell silent. No whispers. No laughter, no sneers, only quiet, waiting breath. The head elder cleared his throat. "A grave violation of our combat laws has taken place," he said. "Unauthorized weapons, sabotage, and targeting of students." However, something else occurred. He looked at Scylla. The reawakening of an ancient gift. Scylla didn't flinch. She stood tall, her arms still wrapped in light bandages. But her eyes were clear. No longer afraid, no longer hiding. The elder continued. "Once, long ago, our kind possessed those who could not only wield plasma, but shape it to protect, to rebuild, to heal. That gift was feared, buried, forgotten, until now." Gasps rippled across the crowd. But no one spoke. The weight of truth hung heavy in the air. A younger instructor stepped forward, the same one who had doubted Scylla on her first day. He bowed low before her. "Forgive me," he said, "for not seeing you." Her lips parted slightly. She didn't know what to say, so she simply nodded. Then the unthinkable happened. One by one, students rose to their feet. Not in protest, but in silence, in respect. The girl no one had wanted, the one who was mocked, rejected, and labeled useless, now stood as a symbol not of power, but of transformation. Scylla stepped to the edge of the stage. "I don't want to be your hero," she said softly. "I just want to be seen. I want others like me to be seen. Because I wasn't the only one you ignored." Her voice shook slightly. "But you can change. Start today." Kale stepped beside her. "You judged her by what she couldn't do," he said. "But you never asked what she could. She didn't just survive your cruelty, she changed the system that caused it." The crowd stayed silent for a long moment. Then, finally, applause began. Not wild, not forced, but slow, real, and it grew. Louder, stronger, echoing through the halls after the assembly. Many tried to approach Scylla News drones. Students, even leaders from other academies. But she waved them off. She didn't want attention, she just wanted peace. She and Kale walked back to their room. The halls felt different now. Not safer, but less cold. There was warmth in the air. Respect, maybe even hope, inside the room. Kale tossed his jacket on the chair. "So," he said with a grin, "what now? Do we retire as legends?" Scylla laughed. "No," she said. "We train harder." Kale tilted his head. "You're serious?" She nodded. "We started this together. We finish it together." He smiled and sat down. "You're not the same girl I met on bonding day," he said. Scylla looked at him. "I'm still her," she whispered. "But now I know she deserves to be here." That night, as stars twinkled outside their window, Scylla stood quietly. Holding the charm the girl once gave her, she thought of the whispers, the pain, the broken stairs, and she let them go. Because now the whispers were different. Now they said, "She's the one who turned fire into light. She's the one who didn't give up. She's the one the human chose, and she chose herself too. And in the quiet of the dark, the girl everyone rejected became the light that saved them all."